Let's get ready to discuss how to become unforgettable in days via one-on-one guidance, clarity, and accountability beyond social media. Welcome to this week's DMC Marketing Nugget.
Get ready for insider secrets and tactics from successful business owners and industry titans. Welcome your host with the most, marketing master, best-selling author, CEO of DMC and Printivision, the guy that wants your business to thrive, Devin Hurds.
Here with us today to discuss how businesses are likely leaving golden opportunities on the table by neglecting their past clients and referral network. She was a speaker for the Trunk Club, Fiverr, State Farm, Notre Dame, University of Illinois, DePaul University, and University of Chicago. Welcome, owner of Your Social Media Sherpa, Shaily Hakimian.
You rock. I love it. Y'all, for anybody watching, he's been practicing my name and it's been so beautiful and I so appreciate it. And it's all good.
All right. Shaily Hakimian. There we go.
Yeah.
All right. So welcome, Shaily. It's great to have you here. Love for you to fill us in a little bit on your background. It sounds like you've had some great strides in the social media world. And I think everyone out there that's a business owner or marketer wants to learn tricks and tips about social media. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh my gosh. So my crazy social media journey starts on MySpace, where I led an online community for nerds like me that like the show Survivor and Big Brother. It was a whole thing. Didn't think anything of it. Graduated from Indiana University, was applying for a position at a social media related agency, a marketing company. They did video production, was fabulous. And on the application, they're like, Shaily, have you ever managed online communities before? And I was like, maybe back on MySpace. And it hit me that day that I was very much into the internet long before the internet and social media was even called what it is. So welcome to my chocolates, y'all. So one thing led to another. I was doing social media. I did a lot in the Jewish community, freelancing for Jewish organizations. It was a lot of fun. But I wanted to serve business owners, and I was going to, I don't know if you've gone to BNI meetings, right?
Sure.
Have you been to those? So
Absolutely.
I was going to BNI meetings and I was like, oh, I do social media. Let me do your social media. But that audience, and I think this is what your last guest, Robin Robbins, was saying, it's like, if you're not going to the right people, they're going to miss it. And like, these people were not ready to spend thousands of dollars a month on social media. They were just not there yet. And I kept going and I was like, but I want to serve these people. So one day this lady comes up to me and she's like, Shaily. She's like, I get that you can do social media. I don't think I'm ready to hire you to do my social media. And she's like, Shaily, can I just like pay you to sit down with me and show me how to do this? And I was like, I studied education in college, so I'm a certified teacher, all that stuff. I love motivating and empowering people to believe in themselves, all that stuff. And I'm like, wait a second, this is my perfect opportunity. So this is like 3 or 4 years ago now. And majority of my work has been teaching people how to do their own marketing and helping them understand the tools of the web. Like your company has all these fantastic tools that they can use, but sometimes they don't always understand how that connects to the bottom line or what's already worked for their business. And a lot of times they're leaving, like you said, the golden nuggets on their table by not talking to their referral network. So that's what I do. I help them bridge all the like real world connections and local real life influence or even virtual influence to the web so that they can stay top of mind with the people they already know they can count on for business. Once they've got that in place, then you amplify it with all these amazing tools that you offer and magic. So that's what I love to say.
Okay. Well, I love the energy, and I think that's what's needed this day and age, right? You got to stand out. You got to be different. You got to, show up differently to stop people in their tracks. So the energy that you're bringing to the audience right now is something that should carry through to your marketing as well. So why should a business owner ask why should a business owner ask the question, am I an outlier?
Oh, so this is great. This literally, I just updated this last week because you know what, too? There's a lot of these marketing firms that like, you do this, you do that. And it's like very one-sided. As somebody, I'm Middle Eastern, North African, like I've got a very different background. My parents are immigrants. I'm like, I grew up a little bit different. And I think a lot of my clients, just looking back, like they've been through various adversities, whether for their race, their sexual orientation, gender identity, whatever it is, religion, there's anti-Semitism, whatever it is. And they've had to navigate in a different way. And I think there's a lot of these like one size fits all, go into our program, we'll teach you our way to do it. And it doesn't always speak to that. So my whole thing is that I want to serve these people who've always stood out from the norm and build something with them that is relevant to them, that is one of my clients likes to use the word authentic to them, but also something that they can maintain and sustain and even joy. I just had a comedian guy saying, I hate social media. I had to hire someone because I hate it so much. And it's true. I want people to love it and feel like it's their own and not project whatever everybody else is telling them.
Allow DMC to help you build an empire. Whether you crave the local limelight or global domination, being recognized as the clear choice takes deliberate action. Dynamic marketing consultants can equip you to tame the competition and become king of the beasts. It's a jungle out there, so eat or be eaten. Schedule your introductory call today at yourdmc.com.
Yeah, and I think people also just think they can start social media, start posting, and it's going to bring them in magically a bunch of business, and that's not necessarily the case.
No.
So,
You know that. It takes time to build up any social media manager. Say, like, I always say, be unforgettable in 100 days, because it takes a good, at least 3 months to start seeing what it's doing. I'll tell you what I tell my clients. I'm like, do you trust your referral network has more clients in it? And a lot of times they say yes. And then I'm asking the next question. I'm like, well, how are you staying in touch with them? Which a salesperson can ask you, a marketing person can ask you, but how are you staying in touch? And a lot of times they're like, I'm not. And I'm like, well, that's it. If you can trust that your network has people in it, how do you remind them in a way that they're going to love and enjoy that you are the awesome person at the thing that you do? And that's what I love, helping them create that base.
Yeah, we always tell our clients it's always sexy to get those new clients on board, get those new opt-ins, but don't forget your current client list, your referral networks. Those are the bread and butter of your business. So continuing to market to them is so important.
100%.
So, yeah, I know you want to go ahead and it's you think it's common sense, but we just get so trapped in what's going on now, and it doesn't happen. So keeping out there, we use a lot of direct mail for reactivation campaigns, and just showing appreciation is what we recommend. But social media can do that as well. So what do you feel? I know you've got several. You got several actionable points that people can really follow to be unforgettable. Why don't you go ahead and kick us off with number one?
Oh, yeah. So here's the dumbest, simplest thing you can do. Get the FAQ out of your head. So whatever questions that your clients ask you every single time about your service, that needs to be really easy to find, because I know this. I'm sure you did this. Your team has done this. They've probably stalked me on the internet to figure out, is this lady legit? Does she know what she's talking about? And when you look me up on the internet, there's video after video, text after text saying, here's what questions I always get asked. And it's almost as if they've had a sales conversation long before we ever get on the phone. You don't used to be where it's like, oh, so-and-so's great. Let's go call them. Let's go, go connect. And then you have to like kind of give them your whole spiel on the phone. But nowadays you have like a website or potentially your LinkedIn profile or whatever. What are the things that people are most dying to know? How did you start your business? What are the problems? One of them that's really interesting nugget is like how does pricing work in your industry? So I have a whole blog that explains the different kinds of social media services one can hire and what they might cost and the pros and cons of all of them and who they're best fit for, because that's something that people just don't know about. They don't have the education to figure that out. Some of the other things I say is what types of offers, what types of services, who is your best client. Making it easy for them that's the dumbest step one that you can do tomorrow. And it doesn't necessarily, maybe you don't have a website. If you have it in a document, you're good to go. Sometimes you can even send it in a mailer if you want. I'm sure. Like, I don't always tell everybody it needs to be social media. Sometimes I say, you know what? If you've got the mailing list, give them that content. Who gives it to them? Not very many.
No, I think that's amazing information there, because if you can answer questions before you even get into that sales mode or that sales call, it just eliminates a lot of the questions they may have. Some of the rejections that they may put out there, you're already squashing them right away. So putting that front and center is great advice. So what would you have as number two?
Oh, that's great. I love that. Well, number two, I'll say it to you, make it easy to find and make it easy for people to see it. Like, one of the things your show does is you make it very clear what they're going to get in each episode. And I think that's something that people don't realize when they're promoting podcasts or anything like that, or they post on social media. Their first line is, I talked to Shaily today and it was really fun. And I'm like, who is Shaily? You probably don't know who I am. What is she talking about that's worthwhile to me? People don't make it very, very obvious, like what they're going to get when they're like coming into a video or a podcast or whatever. So how do you pull people in? you got to make it really, really easy, whether it's on your website, your profile, wherever people are seeing you, sometimes even a business card. That's a huge, huge, huge thing. That's big. The other thing I'll say that I tell this to all my clients too is they have the network, they have people that love and adore them, and but they don't know, they don't see the content. Maybe they have like a whole list. I think we were saying earlier, golden nuggets. I had a client that had a whole email list that opted in on her website, and she'd never sent them a single email to be like, hey, like, here's what's up, or here's insights about my service. It was an Indian matchmaker. It was such a cool space to be in, but it didn't tell them anything, and she never sent a word. And that was a golden missed opportunity. But also, I saw this today on an email list of I've been doing more with the therapy industry in this therapy company in Chicago, which is like therapy newsletter. And I'm like, I don't know why I care about this particular therapy newsletter. You had to pull me in. So making it easy for people to see it and then be pulled in by it. Huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know how quick people are scrolling through everything these days. So putting it out there in front as here's what you're going to get, some of the benefits of what you're going to get by staying tuned and watching what we've got going on. It's exactly. Yeah.
Great
Perfect.
Example. Lead by example. There you go.
We always try to do that. Yeah, we practice what we preach. Absolutely. So yeah, I think making it easy for people to see it, catching them right off the bat, whether that be with a headline or voice, I think is going to be an important nugget there as well. So let's move on. Hit us up with number 3.
Oh, yes. So the last thing I want to say, well, this is all right. Make the goodness obvious. Make the goodness, like, it's exactly what I was just saying here. Like, you have done a brilliant job putting in exactly what I'm going to say down below. You'll see with videos, I'll say this, you're going to find out the 5 secrets to getting a job in the automotive industry or whatever it is. That makes it easy for people to say yes. I had a client, again, a different client, that would say, like, this is my weekly newsletter for inspiration. Like, what's in this newsletter that I need to open? That's a big, big, big challenge. So that's something else that I always say. I'm going to emphasize, put the goodness up front, make it really, really, really clear. LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is one of my like specialty areas. People miss this all the time with their like summary section where the first few lines are like, I do generic skill, I do generic skill, I do generic skill. I'm like, I don't care what generic skill you do. I want to know what you solve for me. What am I going to get out of looking at your profile? What am I going to get out of signing up for your freebie or whatever it is you're giving away? I want to know that. I don't care how many awards. Some people care about awards. I don't care how many awards you got. Just make it clear. You are my rock star. You are my hero, right?
Yep, absolutely. Sell the benefits and not the services is what you're all about.
Yes. Yep. So, well, absolutely. But make it clear, because here's the best part too, is that the people that I work with, they're connectors. People already know they're good at what they do. People already know this reputation. It just hasn't been documented. That's as simple as that. It's not like we're making stuff up here. That's why you need someone to like extract it from your brain and then manifest it.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And I mean, as far as with social media, is there recommendations that you have as far as how often people should be posting, and do they need to be putting money behind it to really get the reactions they want and the amount of traffic they want?
Here's what I say. So the people that I work with, they are very well connected. They are real life influencers, but they're not necessarily translated that to the web. So if they're really the base foundation and they may or may not have a social media manager, I would say they have to be something they can maintain and sustain. New Year's resolutions just happened. How many people are going to the gym right now? And how many people are going to actually stay at the gym next month? Very few. And that's the same thing with social media. People get very excited. They call me in January and they're like, I need you. But if they don't come up with a system that they can sustain, or they see some coach saying, you need to produce YouTube videos in this exact format, they're going to get overwhelmed and quit. And granted, those people aren't wrong. Like, we know those people. Y'all have taught a lot of people in that way too. But sometimes they're not ready for that. And then they quit and they get discouraged, and it's heartbreaking. So what I do is I like to figure out the right amount that they can stick with consistently. I had a client a few years ago. She was like, I made 30 Instagram posts that I had hired someone to do. And she's like, I'm going to post them all in 1 month. And I'm like, but how are you going to sustain that? Are you going to be able to get another 30 next month? Like, that's a lot. I was like, you could probably space one out every week till you figure out where your bearings are, and then you can kind of amplify from there. Once you know how it's affecting the people that you serve, then you can say, hey, maybe I can amplify it with ads. But I think when people mess up, like I had a guy, it was a prospect a few years ago at an insurance company. He tells me like, I spent $600 on Facebook ads and I lost it immediately because I didn't know what I was doing. And I'm like, you got to call a professional. But if you don't have a good website for that Facebook ad, or you don't have a page that you're trying to promote, if people don't know that whole system, it's worthless. So I always say, get the base down first, serve your people, because if you know your content is at least speaking to the people that already love and adore you, that's when you can start amplifying from there. So I'm that first step. And then they should call you, and then they get a little more juice.
So a lot of clients that we have, or people that have come to us think that they can just go ahead and start pushing out ad spend, pushing out all these different social media posts. But if they don't have their foundation built, they're losing out, because people are going to do their research. Yes. They're going to look at you on social media. They're going to look at YouTube, see what videos you have out there, see what content you have. So we always stress, build the strongest foundation first, then start putting money into it. You wouldn't bring people into a restaurant that's disheveled and a mess. Same thing with your business online. You got to keep it looking good and keep your foundation as sharp as possible.
100%. You have to. And I would say the easiest thing, like we've been saying, it's start with your people first. Start with your people first. Build that base, figure out that process, amplify it, and call you.
Yeah. 80-20 rule. I mean, I don't know how many times I say that over and over again. You got to focus on the people that are bringing in the business, the people that are going to go out there and give you good reviews and refer traffic to you. So don't neglect your current list. Do not neglect your referral networks. Those are people that are going to help your business. And ultimately, it saves you money, right? Because those are people that are going to go out there and really help promote your own business. So you have that. And then you start adding in the ad spend and start adding the targeted campaigns. It works together very nicely and really helps out bring that successful social media aspect into your business.
100%. I will say this too. I've seen this with my own content, because I have real world relationships with so many people on my LinkedIn network. People like see me and they're like, oh, I love Shaily. I'll like her stuff and I'll engage with her content. And I'll be reminded that she's awesome. That's what it is. Like back in the day, like if I didn't see someone for 6 months, like would they remember me? I don't know. But because I added them on LinkedIn at that random networking event, that person I met 3 years ago is now on my LinkedIn and is going to continue to see that I exist and be reminded of what I do, and ideally learn something about social media, whether they work with me or not. And that to me is also incredibly amazing, is that your whole world can see what you're up to like that without ever having to bump into them in real life. Forever, potentially.
Yeah, and also, and don't get complacent too at just doing static imagery ads or videos. I mean, get yourself in front of the camera. I know it's tough, but there's definitely ways and strategies that you can do to get yourself out there. People buy into you and your personality, especially your personality. It's like, you get me so excited. I'm ramped up to get going. So, I'd say you gotta do your own stuff. Don't always rely on us.
But here's the other thing too, right? There's another thing I want to add, right? Because like y'all have all these tools and resources. One of the things I see with clients is that they have a freelancer or they have an agency or something, and they're like, go do it, go. But it's like, you probably know this, that if you're and a lot of freelancers will say this too, if you don't get the right info out of your clients, you can't manifest the content that they need most. And your business leader knows the target audience. They know who they're selling to. They know the demographic, but that freelancer person or that agency doesn't always pull that insight that your ideal people need to hear. And that's where I like to serve as like a communication bridge, right? Of like, these people don't speak the same language. And I'm sure that probably has happened with clients. And I'm sure y'all have found out systems in which to extract that good knowledge so that you can manifest the right kind of content. But that's something that people get lost on when they try to do it all by themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why we have shows like this too, that we bring to our clientele. So if someone's looking to get online, but they have trouble, like myself, getting in front of a camera and just talking, it's not the easiest for me, but by having an interview show, by having a show that we're just maybe talking about our own services and solutions, it holds your feet to the fire and it makes sure that you're doing something consistently. And it's a way to get content out there more religiously. So I think that's a good advice there as well.
Yes.
So
100%.
I know you've got a lot to share. We're trying to keep it to a nugget. I believe you're looking to go ahead and give someone a little, I guess it's a LinkedIn tidbits or secrets on your website. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So one of the things that for sure, if you have a business, not every single industry, but a lot of industries, you got to be on LinkedIn. They say you get the highest average, income of a person on LinkedIn is significantly like more than double what every other platform is. So if you're a business person, you're trying to sell or whatever, LinkedIn is probably a good spot for you. But one of the things I see is that people are notoriously boring on LinkedIn. Their profiles are not interesting. I don't know anything about them as a person. I can't even visualize their existence. It's just generic and boring. So what I did, I gathered a collection of all of my favorite LinkedIn profiles that I've been seeing, whether it's most of them are for businesses, but there are some high school students, some college students, some career seekers, some really good examples of how people showed off their unique assets to potentially someone who might want to work with them. So you can download that on my website at yoursocialmediasherpa.com, and it's right in your inbox.
Awesome. Really appreciate that. Anything else you want to tell our audience out there before we head off?
Oh, my favorite social media quote that I wish I had written myself is that social media is about the people, not about your business. Provide for the people, and the people will provide for you.
Love it. Great episode. Thank you, Shaily, so much for all the wonderful information. And we wish you the best of luck with your business and for your clients, and look forward to working with you on some projects as well. So appreciate all the great insight.
For sure. More adventures to come. See you on the interwebs.
Absolutely. So go ahead and find us on your favorite streaming platform, and be sure to share, like, and subscribe for more DMC Marketing Nuggets. Visit us at dmcmarketingnugget.com to view all of our past episodes. Here's to your success.